We are live.
What's up, everyone? This is STORYHIVE on location in Vancouver with Beats, Eats, and more. Yeah, there we go. There we go. I'm your host, Jamin Cameron, broadcasting live from MOARRR studio here on the unceded ancestral lands of the Musqueam, the Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. Big shouts out to Telus STORYHIVE, who's made today's episode possible. Today on the show, we're tapping into movement and flow with Risto Duggan, the creator of Rocket Yoga Vancouver. Risto blends elite athletic training with deep knowledge of recovery and mobility. After working through his own injuries, he created Active Yin, a unique approach to Yin Yoga focused on functional movement for the hips, shoulders, back, and splits. His philosophy: practice makes progress. Outside the studio, he's a house music lover, often found in local house dance classes, including my own, continuing his exploration of what the body is truly capable of. Thank you so much for being here, Risto. I'm
so stoked.
Yeah, dude, me too. I have been thinking about it, and it's awesome because every week we have an hour-long dialogue together. It just happens to be in a different context, right?
Totally.
More instructional. You know, you're my teacher through yoga. I've taken all of your different yin classes focused on those body parts. And every week you're in my house class learning different combos, you know, sweating up a storm, which is beautiful. You know, we talked about in that intro, there's so many different things that you do already, so many different modalities. And so I really want to start from the top, you know, take it back from the beginning. What are some of your earliest introductions to movement and creative practice? And how have these introductions continued to shape your current practices?
Well, I guess I started mainly in athletics. So the first one was badminton. And my mom was an amazing badminton player. And so I ended up playing with her and doing mixed doubles and stuff like that. And then I ended up doing singles. And then I ended up representing my city for badminton. And then from there, it went to basketball. And I ended up playing university basketball. And I was playing like 3 hours a day all the time. And I used to have a crazy vertical back in the day before I wrecked my knees so much.
Right.
I used to compete in dunk contests and played tons and tons of basketball. And then basketball, to keep my vertical up, I would play volleyball on the off season. And so volleyball ended up being the easiest transition once basketball took me as far as it could go. And then I went into beach volleyball and I became a beach professional. And I ended up playing the best team in Canada a couple times. A couple of the silver medalists, John Drakic and Kanjar, they were 1 and 2, but they were split up. And so I ended up playing them a couple times, and they killed us. But but it was really cool just to say that you played, you know, the
100%.
best in Canada. And then and then all that went into snowboarding. My buddy took me snowboarding once from Ontario, and I hated winter. I played basketball, so I was indoors, and I played volleyball, so I was indoors. And then in the summer, I was out at the beach all the time playing. But I hated, like, living in Ontario. I don't know if you know the weather in Ontario, but it's brutal.
I know of it. I've never been in it.
Yeah, it's super rough. And so I would be bitter all winter. And then my buddy took me snowboarding.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been missing. And I moved to Whistler 6 months later.
Right.
And then I lived there for 5 years. And that was the craziest 5 years of my life. I could never do it again, but it was nuts.
Yeah, no doubt. And so that was 5 years straight, or were you going back and forth?
No, that was five. That was 5 years straight.
Wow.
Yeah. So by the end of there, I was racing pro border cross, and I had a freestyle sponsor, and then I would just break bones. That was the problem. So
breaking your own bones.
Yeah,
Okay.
I snapped my femur on a tree, and I blew my knees out, and I broke a whole bunch of other bones, and then you find that you have to do all these recuperation and rehabilitation exercises to recover, to keep going. And then I got into bodybuilding when I left Whistler, because I had to get out of Whistler before I
You couldn't get out of Whistler.
Didn't live anymore, because it was rough. It was pretty hard. But yeah, so I went down, got into the gym, and then there was a yoga studio at Olympic Gym where I was training, and so I just took a yoga class on my 40th birthday. Right. And by the end of the class, I got so humbled. It was crazy. I couldn't reach past my knees. I had to sit on 3 blocks to sit cross-legged because my knees were really messed up. Totally, yeah. And then by the end of the class, I was like, whoa, this is really what I need. And then here's a kind of a cool story about, I guess it was probably about 3 months after I started, the teacher didn't show up. Something happened. Right. He didn't show up. And I was a bit of a keener, so I'm doing all this stuff at home. And then everyone's about to leave, and I said, do you guys want to stretch? I mean, we came here to do a class, and I got doing a bunch of stuff at home. You want me to guide you what I'm doing at home? And they're like, sure. And then so by the end of the class, 3 of the girls in the class came up to me, and they're like, you should be doing this. So that kind of like aha'd me from there. And then before I knew it, I was teaching full time. And that's been 20 years now. That's been 20 years. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. So even like from the beginning, working with sports, it was always like a multitude of things. Yeah. It was a multitude of activities. And then coming into snowboarding, I think that's awesome that like the passion and the drive that was planted by your friend, that it just superseded, like, you know, the weather didn't matter. Yeah. Like this whole thing, you were like, I'll be in the environment because I love this thing so much. But then it is also interesting too, like, you know, for myself, I understand that journey of, you know, going through many, many, many injuries, right? Like early 20s, like I messed up my like head, shoulders, knees, toes, and everything in between, you know? Breaking for sure. Breaking for sure. I never broke any bones, but I did have really bad bursitis. Like I had like a couple of herniated discs and hips out of place. My toes were feeling it. Like it was just not the one. But that's also fantastic that you were able to find yoga as a way to get into a better flow, you know, find yourself a little bit with that. And I know for me, like a lot of the rebuilding process, like fully shaped my understanding now of the body. So that's actually something that I want to ask you about is like, you know, in rebuilding in that way, like through the process of injury, what were some things that you learned? I imagine, again, it's multitudinous, but, you know. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, there's just so much, like in the yoga world, there's a lot of people that come from gymnastics and dance. Right. And so they slide into yoga and they're like, this is really easy, man. You know, like this is the simplest thing I can do because I can already do all this stuff. That was me for sure. You know? Yeah. So if you haven't been damaged and you haven't worked yourself through stuff, it's really hard to teach from a place of compassion because all these people that you're teaching have a whole bunch of issues and you don't know until you learn what they're doing, and then you see how they're moving, and then you can apply some of the knowledge that you've acquired getting through your stuff to help them. And if you don't have damage and stuff that you work through, it's really hard to even know what they're talking about. Yeah. So a lot of that, I'm really glad that I actually was the poster child and got so damaged to recover through this stuff and keep going. Yeah. Yeah. I had a guy, his name was Dayton Warner, dark black guy, became my best friend through high school. And him and his family, they brought me in and they taught me basketball, music, dance, Jamaican culture, DJing, and I said skateboarding already. He and I used to skateboard and play basketball all the time. And then he started to take me to a lot of these black parties where I was one of maybe 5 or 6 white people in the whole place. And then we'd go to a different event every weekend, and they were called sessions. Okay. And so it's funny because I'm hearing your story being in New York City and stuff like that. And I kind of find that we have a little bit of a similar background in that sense.
Some type of crossover in like the dance.
You know, you really
journey.
like respect the Black culture and the music and what they've gone through. And I learned so much from him and his family. And sadly, my parents were racist. And so I had to overcome that and then basically take what I've learned from Dayton and my buddy Booty Surya, East Indian guy. And then before coming out, I dated Japanese women and Chinese women. And so I would always bring different cultures back home to show my parents, basically, because they were really set in their ways. They were both awesome, but they were raised from Halifax back in the day, where it was the last segregated place in Canada. Right. So they still have that. And I had a lot of that stuff ingrained in me that I had to overcome. And so I'm really glad that I did. And I'm just so glad that I got to meet him and his family and learn the culture and smarten up.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And now we're getting now everything's going back, you know, with the whole Trump craziness. But anyways, yeah, I don't know if we want to go there.
Yeah. 100%, you know, big time, like coming back to what you said about fully respecting Black culture in all of its facets, you know, because Black culture proliferates in everything that we do, not just house dance that we share, but hip hop, jazz, funk, soul, you know, any type of dance modality that people are doing, there is some type of Black community involvement, you know, and not everybody realizes that and continue to practice those things or attribute them to different groups, you know, for example, like country music or rock music, also part of Black culture, you know, and it's beautiful that you were able to share that with your parents as well, just by way of being around and continuing to hold your ground in what you know to be true, what you know to be right. And again, shouts out your friend for bringing you out, showing you all those things. Music, dance, DJing, like that's the whole, like, you know, tier list there of.
And we're still connected through social media, which is super cool. From, you know, like back in, occasionally every once in a while he'll send me some stuff, and it's all, you know, it's just like, he's still educating me to this day.
100%. You know, each one teach one. Just like you're my teacher, I'm your teacher. You know, we learn different things from different people. So I would, then there's so many different directions to take that, because that's like a lot of different things that you do in terms of dance then. So where did you go from there, and how old were you at the time when you were introduced to dance like that?
First class, 34.
You were 34. Okay, got you.
But Dayton taught me how to dance.
Dayton taught you how to dance. What was the first step that you learned?
We used to go to we used to be in these sessions, and he was just an amazing dancer. So I just tried to copy him. Yeah, and I couldn't say first steps that I learned or anything, but I just tried to follow him. And those house parties were so amazing. Everyone was fully dressed up, and there was one wall of bass bins and then super tweeters up top. Okay. So that was it. So it was just like these massive wall of bass bins, and then so crazy highs and crazy lows. Yes. And that was it.
That's what you need. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like the vocals, the bass,
and
the
then
kicks.
you go into this basement room and you'd see eyeballs and teeth. Got you. You know, right, and like the occasional white dude mixed in the mix there, and people just throwing down, and it wasn't party time. It was dance.
Well, so it could be both.
Yeah, you know? But it was like it just opened my eyes to a whole other side of life. You know. And then I remember I took my first hip hop class, and because of the dance background with Dayton, I'm like, this is gonna be a piece of cake. And I go in there, I basically stood still with smoke coming out of my head, because I couldn't pick up anything. I couldn't even get the first 8 count, and I just sat there and I was just like, oh my god! And I'm like, I'm gonna get this. And then I taught hip hop for a while.
You taught hip hop for
Yeah,
a while. Okay,
yeah.
where were you doing that at?
Yeah, this was at, it was called Kit's Workout, where
Okay.
Kitsilano Y Yoga is right now.
Mhm.
Used to be an old gym.
Right.
And there was a guy who I knew from film. I was an actor for a while as well.
Mhm.
The guy I knew from film, he was teaching at Olympic. And he showed up in the class and he goes, "I'm the most inflexible yoga teacher you'll ever see." And I was sitting back and I'm like, that's what I needed to hear, you know, because you don't have to be a rock star to teach a class. You just have to know the body and know how to guide people. So that got me in. And then before I knew it, he's like, "I have this class at Kit's Workout. Do you want to take it over?" And back then we didn't even need our 200 hours. So anyone could teach yoga.
You could just jump, you could just
could
like
just-
apply and just
Yeah, you
say,
could
I
just
can
teach,
do it.
you know?
Wow.
And so I was teaching at this place, and then before probably 2 or 3 months in, the room was full. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I created this class called Yoga Dance Mix.
Yoga dance mix. Okay, so what was the flow of that class?
So I would do like a yoga warm up, and then I would teach basically a hip hop class, and then a yoga cool down. But we were like getting to the point where we were getting 6 to 8 counts in this class. Like it was a lot of choreography, and I would like it was kind of a trip that it was happening like that. And yeah, and that was just and then before I knew it, my first teacher, Ian Finn, he finally got his teacher training together because I was just waiting for him to get his together, and it took quite a while. And then once I started training with him, then I did well over 300 hours with him and a bunch of workshops, and then I kind of took off from there because my tattooist took me to Ian's class. Yeah, and I went into this yoga class, and everyone hugged each other at the beginning, and the music was cranked, and he was kicking our ass while we were laughing our head off and pouring with sweat. And I'm like, okay, this is different than what I expected yoga to be.
For sure.
And so initially when I went in there, I'm like, I don't know if this is all real, you know? And then I finally saw this other side of it, and you're like, okay, yoga can be this too, and it can be this too. It doesn't have to be, you know, super woo-woo. Right. And it can be, it can be like a party. 100%. But it can also be super dialed in and keep you healed and healthy and help you grow and share. Yeah, it's great.
No, I get that. Like a lot of the work that I do, like especially when it comes to like film or even curating how I teach a class, it's fun, but it's meticulous, methodical fun. You know, there's like method to the madness and what's happening, you know? And some people like, they have an image of what a class ought to look like. I know that I've held many images of what I feel is an ideal class or just a class in general, right? But then you come to realize that there's actually so much more that can be achieved through different means, right? Like totally. Even the way that we like get down in a circle sometimes. Like there was that class we had on Valentine's Day where we all made the choreography together, you know? That's fantastic.
Yeah, and everyone feels way more of a part of it as well for that. Yeah, it's been super cool. I mean, like I had what 5 or 6 years with Fran, and now I'll be with you for however long that's going to be.
Yeah, hopefully 5 or 6 plus.
Yeah, and I'm also still training with JoJo, and I've been training with him for like 25 years off and on. Okay. So it's been. I wish I could do a lot more dance, but you know, got to pay the bills.
Got to pay the bills 100%. And you're teaching like upwards of like 5, 6 classes a day, right?
No, not that much, but I do 11 a week, and then other stuff. So sometimes you're doing privates, and sometimes you're doing events like this, and tapping into some other things.
Yes. Very that. And
going to Nicaragua.
Going to Nicaragua, absolutely. That's another avenue that I want to explore as well, is like your experience hosting retreats out there, and like, you know, how you got into it. And like,
this has been crazy. Yeah, because Ian, he would always make sure that there was a surfing component into his his events. So I did 10 Tofino retreats where I would go long weekend, Labor Day long weekend.
That was like annual. You would do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay,
Every Labor Day long weekend, I did that, and then. But my thing is, I'd always want to make it better every time, and to make it better, you don't make much more money.
Right.
You actually spend more money to make it better every time.
Mm.
So I it's like a push and pull with, you know, you don't want to charge too much, but you also want to offer them something better every time. So you kind of lose a little bit on your end, and then over time you realize actually people have more money than you do.
Got you. So they can transmute their value into
totally. Like, I'm a yoga teacher. Like, I'm not a, you know, not a rich dude.
Yeah. 100%.
And so I'm always giving people breaks, and I'm like, this person makes $300,000 a year.
Yeah, exactly.
And I make 50 or something like that, you know?
Totally.
You know, and you're like, and I'm giving them breaks all the time. So yeah. I've been learning my ways over the time. And then I finally, I was like, I just want to go someplace tropical for a week, because the weekend ones were really good, but they were a lot of work for a little bit of reward.
Right.
And so I wanted to get a week-long one in. And so I had been to Mexico and I'd been to Costa Rica, and both of those places, they just didn't grab me. Like, I know the water in Mexico is not the greatest, and I know that there was a couple places, and they were doing tests of how safe the place was, and it was failing miserably.
Right.
And then you go into a lot of the places, and you see in the water, and there's 300 surfers fighting for waves. Well, this place that I go in Nicaragua, it's private.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we got a private surf break.
Right.
With a gated community, so it's super safe. So people hear all these horror stories of Nicaragua, and it's not that at all.
Totally.
They pick you up at the airport and they drive you right to the retreat center, and it's gated and it's private.
Misconceptions dissolved.
Yeah.
And so how do you incorporate surfing into the program then? Is it just kind of like people have free time, and then if they want to surf, they surf?
Yeah. So with the place that I do, it's called Costa Dulce, and I teach first thing in the morning. I do a rocket class in the morning, and then I do a evening yin class, and then we have the whole day to surf. And their surf instruction is phenomenal. Right. And they have like cameramen on the beach, and so, and every year I would always like, oh, I'll do a lesson later. I'll do a lesson later. And I was never really improving. Right. And then 2 years ago, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do my first private. And my buddy just fixed me. After one private, I'm like, I can surf now.
100%.
Like, he fixed like 7 freaking things in a 1 hour surf lesson. And then my next lesson, even though I was cooked, I was able to apply what he learned from the first one, and then add some of the new stuff that he added into the next one. So so lessons are everything, for sure. So I'm learning. You know, you can use your ego and try and figure it out yourself, or you can get the pros to help you out.
Absolutely. I mean, like, I imagine you've definitely heard this saying where it's like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So there's merit to the two different types of approaches, like what you were saying about the community classes, how it was like, you know, everybody was in it all together and like was just moving in such a way that, like, you know, you're getting sweaty, you're having a hard time, but you were doing it all together every week, versus like having the eyes on you like that, and where you're under the microscope of like, actually you need to like micro adjust your knee just slightly. There's no way that you could have like picked up on that on your own. But then to be able to take it elsewhere is such a beautiful experience. And kind of transitioning then into another, you know, we mentioned earlier, your major philosophy, you have it on your shirts, you say it all the time. It's one that I adopt myself, is practice makes progress. I would really like to know like how that has shown up in your life, how you came to understand that. Was it always a part of your practice?
From being basically a jock, I know that fundamentals are everything. And so that's the way I teach yoga as well. So I'm really, really drilling on where the feet are on the mat. Like, I'm really technical about that kind of stuff.
Totally.
And, you know, and like where you sit in your chaturanga. If you're a power yogi and if you don't do chaturanga, I don't want to say why are you there, but that's your power move. So that has to be a strong pose in your practice, and you can't blow through it. And there's a lot of people that blow through stuff because they're not good at it in one try. And so you got to be able to find ways where you can get good at it in 1,000 tries.
Yes.
But you got to drill. You got to drill. Like the only way we can figure out our house steps is if we drill.
If you drill it.
And the only way we can get from one step is to another is if we drill the transitions. And so all that stuff is like just so paramount about actually capturing the essence of what we're doing, you know? And yeah, I love how all this stuff kind of weaves together. You know, the dance gives me the sweat, it gives me the brain work, it gives me this freedom, and then yoga allows the breath to work with the movement and then kind of mess with your ego a little bit more, because yoga and surfing have been the two things that have destroyed my ego. And I was like, my ego was stupidly big when I was a young kid. Because I found that when I got into sports, as soon as I put my mind to it, I was going to get very good, regardless. You know, I wouldn't start something unless I could do it very well. You know,
sure. I'm
an all or nothing guy, like always have been, and so yeah, it's just nice to see that house just is happening in Vancouver more.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely. It's happening in many capacities.
Yeah.
You know, like it's happening in classes. Like there's Ghana's class and Sharon's class and my class, Fran's, JoJo's. Evie started teaching not too long ago.
Yeah.
You know,
she's adorable.
Oh, she's fantastic.
I
love dancing with her. There's Joshi, who's been running the Q7 sessions. That's such a hub, but also includes the beginner class at, you know, before the session starts now. You know, so many opportunities for people to be in those drills, and even kind of coming back to what you're saying about like drilling it in different ways. Like sometimes there's ways in which a classroom can be inhibiting for those drills. Like the context like has limitations where you get to a certain point where you're in front of the mirror and you're like, I'm just not getting any further in it, you know, until you go to the party, you know, which is that like new context. So with you, with yoga, with surfing, those things that had those like greater learning curves, like what were the elements that came into play where you were like, okay, this is the new addition I needed. This was the new context I needed to like really embody it, you know? I mean, you mentioned about surfing with like the one-on-one lessons.
Yeah. Yoga has just been it's been so super humbling, because a lot of the stuff that people just naturally have that ability to do, I didn't at all.
Yeah.
So I had to it took so many years before I could do like upward bow, or most people call it wheel.
Right.
But just like something like that, you know, because I had shoulder issues, I had hip issues, I had knee issues, and like, so I was always working through. So the stuff that was like the baseline was some of the hardest stuff for me. And that was what I had to work towards just to get, you know, like, you know, like, I don't know if I'll ever do full lotus just because of my knees, but
for sure.
But I've got a really nice half lotus now.
There you
know,
go.
And I'm like stoked about that. And so, and then just finding your community, you know, and finding your community, and like, there's a lot of teachers out there that travel around and they do all these workshops and everything. And I did it a little bit, and I went out and I traveled and I did some big events where I was teaching in front of like a couple thousand people, and I left there and I was just like, did I really do anything to these people? So I kind of got to the point where I know a lot of yoga teachers are like, you shouldn't be teaching like regular classes anymore because you're better than that. And I'm like, I don't agree with that. I think that the core group that you work with all the time, you're making way more of an effect on their life than those people that you see once in a blue moon, and you teach them for 2 hours and you laugh a whole bunch and you get out.
Totally.
You know, like those people are like, oh, that was cool, but it was a party class. And I don't know if I really got anything, you know, and I don't want to be doing that over and over and over again. So I'd much rather like teach a regular class and have these people that are with me for years.
Absolutely. The building is super crucial, like not only for the students, like close cousin to practice making progress, consistency being key, you know? And so the drop-in has the drop-in format has a certain fulfillment in that, like, there's a project that you do within a short time period, 60 minutes. We did the thing, we learned the combo. But then when you're building with students over years, like, it just feels good to see their growth and then eventually see them flourish in such a way where they like take off and they start teaching. You know, you were mentioning earlier, like before we started the interview, that you have this upcoming teacher training retreat or this Yin training retreat. Have you experienced that before, where you've had students that then evolve into teachers as well?
Oh yeah. It's been tough. I've been trying to recruit rocket teachers for a long time, but it's been real tough. It's been, you know, you like, they always make jokes at Stretch and they're like, we just want to clone you. And they'll, you know, have a couple of you or 2 or 3 of you, and then we'd be good to go. And I'm like, oh, it's super flattering, but I'm trying to make that happen myself. But it's been tough, you know. Like I get these people, like, you need the look, you need the personality, you need the ability, you need to be able to show off.
Right.
You need to, like, there's all these little things that are like almost like non-yogic. That you got to be able to tick all those boxes off just to be the guy that's sitting in front of the room, and they're like, all right, this guy's going to teach me, you know. And then you have to be on your social media stuff and all this little stuff that's like, really, do I got to do that?
For sure.
And they're like, yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
You know?
Yeah, again, more multitudes, right? All of the things that go, like the artist adjacent things, you know, that aren't a part of the actual thing but are so necessary. The administrative stuff, again, like what you're saying, like the presentation of the work and like or the dissemination of materials and things, which I feel you're really good at, though. Like I feel like every time I see you in a class, like my class, you always film it, you know. Khalif's class, you sent me that awesome video where you're just like, hey, I thought you super killed it in the class, take this. And I was like, whoa, like, so you not only like filmed it, but you went through it and took the time to like clip it. Or at the T Stretch recently, like you're like, all right, everybody, we're gonna like shoot this video all together, and on the fly you're like, all right, Josh, because I wasn't, you know, I didn't even tell you I was going. You're like, okay, Josh, you're gonna be at the front, and then all right, we'll get Carrie over here and let you know. So I feel
and that
like
came out pretty good. I was like,
it was awesome. It was fun. We were going like up the stairs and everything with the people that just learned 9 steps. You know, so there was a lot that went into the production of that. But even just having that like documentation mind is awesome. I know for me, like, I barely touch my phone when I'm at events, right? On the rarest of occasions, like I'll see somebody dancing. Like one that comes to mind is I was at Shambhala and Stu Aguidas, he was dancing under this like spotlight, and he was just doing the most like sultry, like soft house steps I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, whoa, I need this right now.
He is a beast. Always has been.
Big beast. So that, you know, opens up for me like the question, like, how did you get into documentation? And like, was it always a part of your practice to do that as frequently as you do?
I would always try and, I always had kind of a little bit of a community building thing, but only kind of with my crew. And I always kind of found out that if I'm not the one setting up the shots or whatever, they don't get done, you know? So I always try and get a group shot. or something, you know, like just something that documents it, and then it gets fun, you know, like once you start doing, you know, you can start to get a little creative. And Emmanuelle, who's one of the owners at Stretch, she was in film as well.
Okay.
She was a camera operator in film. So I always bang ideas off with her. Like I've done a bunch of photo shoots with her, and she's the perfect person to have because she knows what you need to see, you know, because she's done it. So she's always good. So she was at the back of that setup.
Right,
And then we were like, and then when I edited it, I would like snip from mine to hers to mine to hers and get back. And so, yeah, I always try and, it's just fun to have that stuff. And like when you have it, you're like, I'm stoked I did that.
Definitely.
You know, and it doesn't take much.
No, it doesn't have to.
But yeah. And my partner bought me the camera, so I'm just like, I'm into it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're stoked with that. Like Reed is with you every time you're filming.
Totally.
You know? That's fantastic. I love that. Yeah, even with like the project that you put together with House Dance Vancouver, which, by the way, shouts out Risto for putting together these House Dance Vancouver sweaters. Hit him up for one. Yeah. I rock this, not this sweater, but the other shirt that you got me. Heavy rotation.
Nice.
All the time.
Nice.
Love that. And
nice.
Even like, you know, another form of like crystallization was creating the House Dance Vancouver group for one, to like have people in consistent like digital community, but also the video that you thought of that was like everybody capturing on their own, and then you edited it together. Yeah. Right? It's so simple, you know? Everybody's got a camera on their phone. It's easy enough. You can just like snip it, choose a song, bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, yeah. I was pretty proud of how that came out. Yeah, it was kind of cool, and it was just nice to share. And the guy that he's done all my logos for.
Hat too.
Yeah, he's done all my logos, and he was on my basketball team. His name's Andrew Skuya, and he used to rap from school to his house every day. And so he got amazing. So at all our events, he would be the rapper at our event, and we would beatbox behind him.
Okay.
Yeah. And he would MC for like, he was amazing, man. You know, he'd have these 10-minute rap pieces where he would talk about everybody in the room. And anyways, he was a political cartoonist, and then he got into logos. And so he was the first guy that I went to, and because I switched my name from Chris to Risto, which is, it's still part of Christopher. Yeah. But my name is Christopher Allen Duggan, and the initials CAD is thief.
It's thief.
So you don't want to be using thief as your logo.
Right.
But if I change my name to Risto, then it's RAD.
RAD.
And it's like pretty much encapsulates kind of my lifestyle, even though I never used the word rad back in the day. It was like one of those words that I would never. That's
I'm
rad.
trying. That's
so rad. I just never used it, but it's funny how it's come back, and it's
100%. It's like groovy, right?
Groovy, it's been my thing, and everyone's like, yeah, that's you.
That's you.
And so that's so he sent me these logos, and then it was this kind of like graffiti style with these paint spots, and I'm like, that's so perfect. So every time something comes up, I get him to do a new logo. And we didn't have a House Dance Vancouver logo anywhere. No. And I saw Mamson had a logo, and a few other people had logos. It was just so simple, and it just looked so great when they were performing. Like just the big word house on the front. I was like, all you need.
100%.
You know?
And it's a conversation starter too, because like I have people ask me all the time, like, you know, it seems really obvious to us because we're a part of the community, we do the practice, but I get people reaching out like, what is house dance? You know, like, is it shuffling? Is it grooving? Yeah. And then, you know, it's a conversation starter right here. Just like I imagine Rocket Yoga is a conversation starter. You know? I didn't really know what it was until like I met you.
Yeah. It was the biggest aha moment that I ever had in yoga. Because I took a class with a girl named Jody, and she was teaching at Yaletown Y Yoga, and I took this class in the small room. And at the end of the class, I could tell it was a set sequence, and I'm like, "What is that? What was that you taught us?" And she goes, "Oh, that was Rocket." And I'm like, "Rocket? What's that from?"
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, well, this dude, he toured with the Grateful Dead. He was their yoga teacher." And he trained with Patabi Joyce. So the story's perfect. It's really cool. He trained with Patabi Joyce for 15 years. He was Grateful Dead's yoga teacher, and he would teach them these 3 sequences, and they were all wicked yogis apparently.
Right.
So he had these 3 sequences: Rocket 1, Rocket 2, Rocket 3. 1 had more forward folds. It's kind of like the primary series of Rocket Yoga. 2 had more back bends, which kind of tapped into the intermediate series, but it wasn't any harder than Rocket 1. And then Rocket 3 was the combination of the 2. So Rocket 3, when it's done fully, it's about 3 hours long.
3 hours.
So you can't do that anymore in Vancouver. Like a 90-minute class, it's taken me forever to get a 90-minute class back. And I finally have that at Stretch on Saturday at Sunday at 10 o'clock. And it's happening again.
Yeah.
And because I used to do the same thing at Yaletown, and I used to do the same thing at One Yoga, and they were slamming. So I finally have that back on. And so, so I took this class with Jody. And then the next time that I saw it was with Dustin Fruzen, who was one of the kind of like the silent owners of One Yoga back in the day. And he was the top teacher that I've ever taken classes from. This guy was so mellow. We called him Superman Jesus, because he had like this big beard, and he was jacked, and he was super humble, and he taught the wickedest classes, and he just did Ashtanga and Rocket, and that was it. You'd leave his class and be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't have my phone there to record the cues," because it was a master class, everything. So in my mind, I'm like, that's teaching yoga right there. So that's always what I wanted to emulate, was basically what Dustin has done, and all the cues that the teacher that has built their style of yoga over the years, the cues that resonate with them, those are the cues that I want to hear. Like, I don't want to hear the generic cues that you would have. I want to hear the cue that you heard from Mamsen or whatever, or Khalif or whatever, you know, the stuff that you heard in your travels that made you go, "That's it." That's the stuff that I want to hear.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah. No, there's definitely a way, or like ways in which you can, make those things your own.
Totally.
You know, like I've been using the term a lot, like the 2-step, like a Vitruvian man. So it's like, you know, you're the Da Vinci sort of like anatomical person, you know, and it's like, okay, this is your stick man, and then using different analogies and experiences, and like essentially like inviting somatic practice into it, right? Inviting that imagery and that feeling. And I know that you're really good at this too. Like when we're doing different poses, you'll be like, such and such an image, and like, you know, feel it like this and imagine it like this, and you know, do it like this, versus it's not necessarily like totally directional, you know what I mean? Which is beautiful. Like if you're able to describe like the placement and things, but then to be able to tap in like that, you know? And you feel like, even though you didn't have your phone with you in Dustin's class, that you've like taken enough mental inventory?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. And then you have those students in your class that go,
yeah.
When you say the right stuff, they're just like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
You know, those are the things that you want to hear. You're like, oof. Yeah, that one got in there, and and that's the one that they're going to be like, okay, that's my cue for this pose.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely. Like, you know, and not everybody's going to resonate with the same thing.
No,
you know,
no. And there's a lot of things where like a student will come back to it and be like, oh my God, I was in this class and the teacher said this, and you're like, I say that every class.
Right.
You know, but I just say it a little different.
Exactly.
You know, but I've said it to you 100 times, but it just didn't click.
For sure.
And then someone said it a little different and it clicked.
And so, I was talking to somebody else recently too, that it's like, it's not just the person saying it when they say it, how they say it. It's also that person receiving it. Like maybe that day they just had a little bit more fiber in their breakfast. You know what I mean? Maybe they just had like, you know, like slightly less caffeine than usual. So they weren't like on the same vibration, right? They were like more ready to receive. You know, and it's like that too, right? The way students show up is just as important as the way teachers show up. It's such a 50-50.
Oh my God.
You know?
Yeah. I was in class on the weekend, and there was like someone that I'm like, okay, inhale, reach up, exhale, come down. And this person went.
Right. I'm
like, I had to stop the class the next day. That person wasn't in the class, but I had to point it out. And I'm like, that energy, those people on either side of that person, they felt that. So this, like, I'm not into this, or I'm not trying. It hurts the people around you.
Totally.
You know? So if you come in there and you're like half-assing stuff, or you're rolling your eyes, or you're or whatever, you know, you're dampening the energy of the room.
Definitely.
You know? And so you always want to be, not be that person.
Absolutely. There's such a power in belief, you know, and in mindset. Like, I mean, it's really commonly said, like, mind over matter. But if you go in with the intention of not necessarily this is going to be a good class objectively, but I'm going to go in, I'm going to try my best. I know that practice makes progress. I know all of these different reminders. Then that is so helpful, like for both ends. For one as a teacher who's trying to teach things, and one as a learner who's trying to learn things. Even building off of that, I remember I took, you know, Rubber Legs? He's from Germany. He's this b-boy, and he does the most like outrageous movements, like just like otherworldly things with his body. Like he's doing air flares with his leg behind his head and stuff. And I was in the class with Mark Siller, right? Who's like also a very open individual, right? And we were like learning all of these different systems and things. Like he was very meticulous, you know, very methodical. And then at the end of the class, he was like, if you only retain 1% of the things that you like explored in class, successful class.
Nice.
You know?
It's a real humbling thing. I had to catch myself, because when I came back, I was very critical about, you know, you always want to be perfect, or you always want to get the choreography, and you always want to do this. And I would be like, I'd be getting into the and I'd be doing this in class, and I'd be like scaring the people around me. And like they actually pointed it out to me, and I'm like, thank you. You know, I didn't realize that I'm like, you know, I'm like making you go, oh my God, because I'm just pissed off that I wasn't perfect.
No, I hear
that's
you.
why practice makes perfect is BS.
Totally. Yeah. Actually, like that's how I came to learn the term practice makes progress. Was I was in New York, and I was with like, you know, he was kind of like my friend and guide at the time. He was sort of the same age bracket as like Elite Force, and then maybe like a couple years younger. His name's Eddie Stockton. And he was like, what does practice make? And I was like, perfect. He's like, no, perfect practice makes perfect. Practice makes progress. And I was like, dope. And so every day, progressively, we just, you know, got better and better. But if you go in with that mindset of like, this thing is so precious that like I have to execute it 100%, then you miss out on the process of the progress.
And then in the last probably 6 months, I've been really good at telling myself over and over and over again, you'll get it. You'll get it. You'll get it. And that's been, I can't even tell you how much that's helped me out.
Absolutely.
You know?
Again,
and even if you don't, you'll get it next week.
You'll get it next week. Or you'll try again.
You
ever see that video where there's a guy, he was trying to execute this skateboarding trick for 2 years. You've seen that one, right? And he finally lands it, you know? He's filming it every time. And there's just like such a joy at the end of it. But he's eating it again and again, you know?
Yeah, that's like our snowboarding days, trying to learn these freaking tricks. I did frontside threes for an entire year.
Before you got it?
I told myself, I think it was my third year in Whistler, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do frontside threes all year.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the year, I was like 80% off anything, 80% speed off anything I could frontside three off.
Really?
It was crazy. I was like, so that was just my trick.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah. And yeah, it's just fun when you overcome that, because it was like the hardest thing for me to get. And then all of a sudden you're doing tons of them a day.
Yeah.
And then I learned how to backflip.
And then you learn how to
And then I just
see,
wanted to flip all the time.
this is another thing. I feel like in this conversation, like even though I knew that you did a lot of stuff and you could do a lot of stuff, you keep saying these little things where I'm like, you could do that? You did this? You could do like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow,
I was riding one day, I'll never forget it. I was
Mhm.
riding one day, and there was a black guy named Omar Lundy. And he was the like the local star when we were there, like early 90s.
Mhm.
And he had this really weird stance. He rode 0-0 with no high back lean.
Mhm.
And everyone was like, how are you doing this? He just like got his ankles really strong by riding this crazy stance.
Mhm.
But I was riding with him one day, and we were off to the side, and there was this nice tabletop, and I went in and I flipped switch, and I did a switch rodeo melon grab.
Mhm.
And I've never done that trick in my life.
Right.
And I stuck it like I was doing it all the time.
Mhm.
And I like rode by him, and he's like looking at me with these big eyes, like, I didn't know you could do that. And I'm like, I didn't either.
Yeah.
But I did it right in front of you. So I'm like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So I'll never forget that day. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was crazy. So that's like a switch backflip 540, basically.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. I'm trying to conceptualize it in my mind because that's a lot of things happening
Yeah,
at once in
yeah.
a very fast-paced environment. But
Yeah.
wow, no, I can definitely relate where it's like you are just some type of alignment of
Yeah.
factors, divine timing, and you're just like, you hit the thing and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know how I did that. I can
Yeah,
never do
and
it
we didn't
again."
have, there was no foam pits, there was no nothing for us. We were
Yeah.
huck and pray back in
Uh-huh.
the day, you know, like just go and slam and figure it out.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure. But I
yeah.
mean, sometimes having that like sense of like stakes makes you do the thing because you're not relying on the comfortable structure, you know?
Mhm.
But don't get me wrong, it is much better to train consistently with those supports. Like
Yeah.
I know for the longest time, like basically until I took your class, I was like, I don't need blocks. I don't need like the support in the class. Like I don't need like the
Yeah.
pillow, you know? But then when you use it, you're like, actually, you know what?
That's the reason
like,
why you use
this is the
this.
reason it's so
Yeah.
much easier, you know?
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
again, that like progression, regression kind of idea,
Mhm.
you know, just use the thing that's gonna help you. You
Yeah.
know, use what's available to you. Which it makes me wonder about, you know, another intense practice that you've entered into recently, your splits practice.
Yes.
For me, I was 10 years old, so I didn't have to worry about anything, right? Like people know me as a splits guy, like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Cameron coming out, just dropping in these splits. You know what I mean? But then people ask me, they're like, how did you get it? How do I get it? I'm like, not like how I get it. I was 10 and I just dropped into it.
Yeah.
You know? What has your journey looked like and how do you invite people into that?
That's quite the, yeah. So my buddy Slava,
Mhm.
Slava Golubov and Devin,
Mhm.
they kind of inspired me, because he told me, he goes, Devin and I, we did for 6 months, I think it was 5 or 6 days a week, they
Mhm.
did 5 rounds of 2-minute splits.
Okay.
I think they did front, middle, or maybe it was just middle. Anyways, so they did this every day, 5 or 6 days a week for
Mhm.
6 months.
Yeah.
And both of them took their splits from here right to the floor. All of them. They finished all their splits.
Right.
I mean, they're half my age and not really that damaged, so it's a little bit
Mhm.
different.
For sure.
But so I took their inspiration and I started, and the first year I, you know, those abductor and adductor machines?
Absolutely, I do. I
So-
used it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would do 3 rounds of abductor and 3 rounds of adductor, and then
Yeah.
I would do a 2-minute middle splits
Mhm.
after each round.
After each round,
Yeah.
you would.
So I was
Wow.
doing 6 rounds of 2-minute splits.
Yeah.
And then I would go into the they have a little yoga room at
Mhm.
Gold's Gym, and I would film the 7th one.
Yeah.
And so I did this for 6 months.
Mhm.
And so I took my middle splits from quite high
Yeah.
to 1 block away.
1 block.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then the next year, I took a little bit of a different approach, and then I added a little bit more functional movement into in between the splits rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was doing 4 rounds,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was adding more front splits this time. So I was going front and middle, 4 rounds. And then the third year, I dropped it down to 3 rounds, but I had it more specific where I was doing pretty much same each time.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I've taken my splits down, like I'm almost a chip foam block away from my front splits on the right leg now.
Chip foam block away.
Yeah.
That's close.
And I couldn't reach past my knees when I started doing yoga. So
Seriously.
it's kind of crazy, and I'm going to be 62 this year.
Yeah.
So it kind of shows what you can get to if you're just diligent and you push at. And so I took this concept and I made the hamstrings class, which was my Active Yin sequence.
Yeah.
And I flipped it and made it splits.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew it was going to be a crazy hard sell.
Mm.
So I pushed it and pushed it and pushed it and pushed it in
Yeah.
every single one of my classes before I got it started.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I got it started, people were into it because I had told them how it benefited me.
Yeah.
And now I have these 2 splits classes that are busy.
100%.
And then that kind of goes into the Active Yin training that I'm going to be doing in Tofino.
Amazing.
So with all the damage that I've come through, I've taken the concept of functional movement with Yin Yoga, and then I created Active Yin Yoga. And so that was, I started doing it at One Yoga for the people before COVID. And then I was doing basically full body within this class. So every class was different.
Yeah.
But you could knock off a whole bunch of stuff within. I had 75 minutes for these classes. And then through COVID, there was a guy named Lucas Rockwood who was doing a similar concept in Barcelona, Spain.
Okay.
And so I did his training through COVID, and then he spread it up into three sequences. So we had a hip sequence, shoulders and back sequence, and a hamstring sequence. So I took that concept, and then he added this different breathing, this 4 to 8 breathing, inhale 4, exhale mouth 8. And then I applied it to, so I married what he was doing with what I was doing, and then Active Yin has become what it has now.
Right.
And every year I go out to Tofino, all the people in Tofino, the Tofino crowd is a different type of people.
Got you.
So they're very personally driven because you have to have a different mentality to be able to surf 12 months a year in Tofino. Like it's hardcore.
Totally.
And so I go out there and I just take my Active Yin concept and I go out there and I teach it. And every time I go out there, you got to do a training for us. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. And then I finally committed to it. So now I have to write this training that I'm doing in May. Yeah. But I'm getting through it, and it's stressful, but it's gonna happen, and I can't wait. And then I can loop it once I get through the first one.
100%. You're just laying the groundwork right now. Just like, incrementally over the years, you've been able to lay the groundwork of creating your Active Yin practice that incorporates your experience of injuries, your experience of playing sports, and like the diligence that has gone into developing those crafts, drills, building skills, your dance practice, like your understanding of music and of fun and of party, like all coming together into this beautiful place where now you have a concentrated space to like, boom, I'm going to show you all of this, like, 25 hours you said before it was, which encompasses 62 years of life, which it makes me wonder, like, that's where you're at now, right? Like planning this thing, laying the groundwork for this new thing. Where do you see yourself in 20 years from now? So Risto at 82, where do you see yourself?
Well, I hope what I'm doing, there'll be enough people following in my footsteps, and hopefully I've affected enough people where they can keep it going and keep sharing what fires them up. And I really I find that a lot of the stuff that I was like, why did I do all this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out 15, 20 years later, that's why you played all that basketball, and that's why you coached the volleyball, and that's why you did this, and I was an actor, and like that's why you were in front of the film, because now you're filming for yoga and you're comfortable because you've already done acting classes and you've already done this, and you know, like so all this stuff kind of weaves in. I also, from Dayton, he got me into DJing too. So I was an R&B DJ. I played breakbeats and I played disco house back in the day. And so I put that into my classes because you can only handle so much yoga music.
You got like, oh my God. That's the laugh we were talking about before. You got me.
You seriously can only handle so much.
No, you play fire in class.
Yeah,
though. Like it's always like banging R&B. You
yeah,
know, like
yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
you could
Yeah,
put that on a t-shirt.
Totally.
Oh my goodness.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, Ian Finn and Ryan Lear and like a bunch of these teachers, you go in and they're like jamming Tupac.
Yeah, heck
and you're like, why not?
Yeah,
you know, and like as long as you're not like overdoing it and interrupting thing to show how cool you are or whatever, as long as it weaves in, you can make it work.
You can definitely
for
make
sure.
it work.
And it's your story. You know, it's I think I just find that so much better. Like people trying to like, I could go on and on.
You could
and
go
on.
on and
I
on
could
and
go
on.
on and on.
And
you know, all the people that memorize all the text and everything, and they spit text in class. I'm like, what do you think about what you just said? I don't want to know. I don't want you to spit text. I want to hear your interpretation of that text.
Exactly.
That's what I want to hear. You know,
100%.
You know, they said this, so that made me think this. That's what I want to hear.
Absolutely.
You know, and how that resonates with your life, and then how you can share that with my life. You know, so,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your story in this last hour, and I appreciate you not just spitting text, but also, you know, how you've interwoven all of these things into your personal practice, how our practices have crossed paths and cross-pollinated, all these wonderful things, and it's incredible. Before we end here, I have a list of rapid-fire questions that I would love to ask you. All right, so, you know, just off the cuff, whatever comes to mind, feel free to say it. All right.
Into it.
Okay, here we go. Only one can stay. Surf or snowboard?
Surf.
Surf stays.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah.
Wow.
Because you can do it longer.
Absolutely. Like what you were saying in Tofino, you could do it all
I've
year
been
round.
snowboarding for 35 years, and I can actually surf now.
Okay.
So I've
got you.
snowboarded.
All right. So that was, I thought that was going to be the hardest one. No, that was not it. Okay. If you could only listen to one house song for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Cheryl Lynn, Got to Be Real.
Woo!
Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Underrated movement pathway or exercise everyone should do daily?
King Arthur.
King Arthur.
Yeah. My starter class where your foot's up the wall.
Oh,
that hip flexor quad,
of course.
Psoas, all that stuff, stretch.
100%.
I prep every class off of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because everyone's low back is messed up.
King Arthur, everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Go to superfood meal for a full day of physical practice / teaching.
I love a really good salad with a lot of little proteiny stuff in there. It doesn't even really doesn't have to be meat, but I like a really nice, well-made salad with some good protein in there.
Lentils,
always makes me feel happy. You know, like I finish it and I'm like, that was good.
You're ready for the next class.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could dance or perform on stage with any artist in the world, who would it be?
I gotta say Janet.
Gotta say Janet.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen her 6 times, and
Okay, so it's
yeah,
about time.
I almost shook her hand at one of the concerts.
Okay.
She was reaching for me, and the bodyguard hit my hand out of the way, and I'm like, "Are you
I
kidding me?"
know! I was so close.
Yeah.
This is my 6th time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Okay. Movement modality you've never tried but would love to get into.
I don't know. I'm kind of old. I think this I think this double Dutch to house is super dope.
So sick.
Like,
and
it's
there's people
super
that
dope.
do
Like,
it here.
I just don't know if I could do it because of my knees, but everything. Like, I've seen it, and I'm like, that's so cool. Like,
so fair. So
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
I would love to do that
and
as well.
and I'm getting into roller skating.
And you're getting into roller skating.
Yeah.
So you are doing a new movement modality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
got
yeah.
you.
Sharon's got me doing some roller dance, so I can't wait to see what happens by the end of this summer.
Oh, it's gonna go off.
Yeah.
Practice making progress
Yeah,
all
yeah,
summer.
yeah. I
100%.
can't wait.
Okay, what's the most amount of classes you've ever taught in a day?
4.
4 classes one
4,
day.
I think.
All Rocket or?
Yeah, I think it was back in the day where I was going back and forth and doing a whole bunch of stuff. Like, it was power here, and now I just do these 2 classes. But
Yeah.
back in the day where I was teaching a lot, you're just trying to grab whatever you had.
100%.
You just do whatever.
Just
Whatever.
studio hopping.
Yeah. Can you do a
Absolutely.
hatha? Sure.
Yes.
Can you do
please.
yin? Yep. Sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the best night of dance you've ever had? Club, party, park, or otherwise?
Delight concert.
Wow, that was
Summer
with the
Love.
quickness.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Summer Love, 93 in
Mhm.
Squamish Valley, and Delight was playing, and it was incredible. It was incredible. I mean, I've been to 6 Burning Mans,
Mm-hmm.
but there was something about this one party, and the people that were there know it.
It just hit.
It was incredible.
Delight.
Yeah,
That was the one.
Yeah, and at the end of the event, oh, this is kind of a little cool story. We got time?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the end of the event, everyone was on the main stage, and then it moved over to a small stage, and then in the
Mhm.
morning there was a beach setup,
Mm-hmm.
and Dimitri,
Mm-hmm.
Delight's DJ, was
Mhm.
playing, and he was facing the water, and the back of his head was a big pot leaf,
Mm-hmm.
and on the other side of the over on the other side was a mountain range.
Okay.
With 2 peaks basically making the shape of an M.
Right.
The sun came up in between the M,
Whoa.
and the sun shone on the back of his head.
right.
And the whole people around we were all caked out because it was at the morning of this massive event,
Mm-hmm.
and the sun just went on his head, and everyone got up and danced hard for about 2 more hours.
Right. Just
Yeah.
that magical alignment.
It was
of
just
the
like
sun
it was
being-
like, oh. Well, you got Delight's DJ playing. Oh,
Absolutely.
It was
It was
insane.
like party's
It
back
was-
on. Second, third, fourth wins.
It was insane.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. Dream destination to host a retreat.
I go there every year.
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua, Costa Dulce.
That's
I
the
wouldn't-
dream
I wouldn't go
destination.
anywhere else.
How you
I
doing?
seriously, like, it's insane.
Yeah.
Private retreat,
Mhm.
private surf break.
Yeah.
They grow all the food they serve. They have 3 infinity pools. They have
Mhm.
full spa service.
Yeah.
All the people that work there are so stoked to work there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as a kid, it's the goal.
Okay.
As a young kid who surfs and likes good food and likes good people, like, you couldn't find a better place.
Mm-hmm.
And like, but I can't be there long.
Right.
Like I did 2 where I did 2 weeks back to back, and it was
Mhm.
too much.
Mm.
And I'd never do that again, but I did it twice.
Got you.
But I didn't learn my lesson the first time. I didn't learn my lesson the first time because I was at another location,
Mm-hmm.
and the girl that ran the other location, she was bipolar, and she was really messed up.
Mm.
And so it
Gotcha.
turned into this very weird thing. But I've been back to my home again now.
I
And
see.
it's,
I see.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
Costa Dulce, and the sad thing is, a lot more people are finding out about it now. Yeah, I saw a couple rock star yoga teachers that they were filming from Costa Dulce now, so that kind of hurts.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going on 9 there, and some people have been on 8 of them.
Okay.
A guy's been on 5 of them. A few couples have been on 3 of them, and so it's yeah. Once they come, they want to go back.
Yeah, for sure. All right, living the dream then. And finally, when and where is the next event you're hosting, and how can we find out more about it?
The next Tea Dance is going to be May 17, and then May 25th to the 29th is going to be the Active Yin training in Tofino. And then I'm teaching all kinds of classes at Stretch. I'm there 6 days a week. And then I'm over at WeWell. And then it looks like I'm going to be getting another class at another studio, but I won't say that until that happens.
Okay, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, things are going really well. I've had a bit of a rough winter with arthritis, but that's just getting older.
True. It's the winter joints too. I don't move as well in the winter as I do in the summer, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Risto? Thank you so much for being here and chatting with us.
Yeah.
Fantastic to have you. And thank you everybody for tuning into the live stream. And if you're a creative in Vancouver, dancer, artist, musician, have a story you want to share, scan the QR code somewhere in the chopped up video. And this could be you, a guest on the stage. Shout out to MOARRR Studio, where we're shooting today. Shout out to STORYHIVE for powering today's episode. I'm Jam Cameron. You've been watching STORYHIVE on location in Vancouver with beats, eats, and more. Peace, everybody.
Peace.